Hey everybody, it's Chuck from New England Base Camp. I work for Scouts, and one of the things I love to do is help Scouting thrive by growing and providing all the programs that we do at New England Base Camp to help troops and packs and non-Scouts learn all about the outdoors and utilize the Scout curriculum to help raise children of character. And now that we are all indoors or inside, I'm in my backyard right now. We are providing a lot of these programs through our online Base Camp Online, and Every day we do a little Facebook Live daily den meeting, and today is my day. So happy Monday, and we're going to talk a little bit about how things grow and stuff you can just sort of learn about and utilize in some of your Cub Scout adventures. So a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago now, I did a whole thing about how things grow, and I talked a lot about terminal buds and lateral buds. And in that, the terminal bud is the center of the tree trunk, and that's the part that grows and straight up, and then the lateral buds are the branches, and they grow out. And I mentioned that sometimes those terminal buds get killed, get eaten by an animal, a predator, or they break in some way. And then a lot of times the lateral buds will grow around that and start to grow up. I found a really neat specimen in my backyard that I thought I'd share with everybody. So here it is. You can see that. These are lateral buds that are growing up, and they are starting to compete. And one of them will become the terminal bud. And that was the terminal bud, which obviously got killed a long time ago. So you can see all those different lateral buds all growing around the sides. And eventually, one or some of those will become the main trunk. Sometimes that's how you end up with a 2 or a 3 trunked tree. In fact, right next to it, we have this cluster of trees all together. And clearly, at least one of them, this one right here, is clearly split. And I really, to tell you the truth, believe that all of these gigantic trunks, and some of them which have died, like that one and that one over there, and this little guy right here broken off, those ones, they all come from the same, what was probably one terminal bud that died. And then these are all lateral buds, or all branches that all competed to be the main part of the trunk, just like this one. So it's amazing. You can see right there what it looks like today, and this is very much what that could look like several years from now, several decades from now. So I'm going to walk through and go to another part of the yard, and I'm going to show you a couple things. What I find really fascinating and exciting about sort of the natural world is the diversity and the way in which plants and animals grow and learn and adapt and find new ways to thrive. And I'm going to share some of those things. So that's one of them, right? The terminal bud and the lateral buds, and how that happens naturally. And then the other day I was talking about, and I used some lemons and some eggs as my examples as to how things grow. Let's put the phone down. There we go. So I'm going to go back to some of the things that I shared the other day, and sort of talk about how things grow. I used a lemon the other day, and I cut it in half, and we talked about 3 main parts of the lemon. The outer part of the lemon, right, which is obviously the protective part. The inside part, the part that we eat, or an orange or whatever it might be, is the pulp, and then of course the seed. And the pulp is really the part that nourishes the seed so the seed can grow, which is just the same thing that happens with an egg. And I use this egg as part of it. So you can see that the inside, the yellow part of the egg, is really where, if it was a fertilized egg, where the chick would be growing. The white part of the egg is the part that nourishes the growing baby chick. And then the shell is really the part that protects it. So very similar in the way that a fruit, or at least a citrus fruit, grows, and the way that an egg would grow. And then I talked a little bit about these little segments, right? Each little segment of an orange, or each little segment of a lemon or a lime or grapefruit, citrus fruits, they come in these segments. Inside each segment is its own seed, so that segment nourishes that seed. So each lemon or each citrus fruit is really a contained environment that has all that the plant needs to grow, and that's really where that's really what's happening here. And sometimes we don't think about, we think about citrus fruits as having all those little segments, but lots and lots of fruits have segments as well, different types. Now this one, it's a little tiny raspberry, right? And you can see This has all sorts of little segments as well, and inside each of the little segments is also a seed, and that's they're going to nourish the seed, and that's how new raspberry bushes grow. And when you think about bananas, we don't really think about bananas as having segments or being a citrus fruit, but they are, and ultimately they're doing the same thing. So this skin, just like the skin of the egg or the lemon, and then it has segments, and it has little tiny seeds, which you won't be able to see here, but I'm going to show you how this banana has segments. And this is a lot of times how, anyway, I'm going to stick my finger right in there, boop, and it opens it up into segments just like you would see in orange. See how that splits into three? Isn't the coolest thing? And so there's a ton of little seeds in there, and those seeds are going to be nourished by that part of the banana. And that's how those things grow. Yum. I'll move my little stuff aside. I also gave some homework. The first day I did my little Facebook Live thing, well, one of the first times, we talked about how to do, we talked about different animals, and we did a little 10-minute hike, and I wanted everybody to draw their animal, which I'm going to do a Zoom meeting. We're going to do all that. I also gave homework about a little engineering project where I said, if you had one nail like this, and then you had an even number of the same size nails, could you get these nails to balance on top of this? And people try different things. Like they'll say, well, I'm going to try to do this. How do I stand it up like that? I don't know. That's kind of crazy. That's not going to work. Well, they'll try to hang them off the side like that, but then they're not really on top of it. They're sort of leaning on the base. What is the engineering feat that allows that to happen? So I still have an answer for that, and I still want to show it, but I wanted folks to practice. So I'm going to ask folks to think about this and get practicing on it. We're going to do a Zoom meeting where we do lots of different homework pieces. I want folks to draw your favorite animal, and we'll talk about where your favorite animal lives. I want folks to figure out if you can resolve this puzzle, and then I want you to think about fruits that have their own special compartment and how they sort of are similar to the lemon or the banana or the raspberry. And then I want you to think, well, the raspberry actually doesn't have really a protective coat. That's probably a difference. But then I want you to think about other fruits and other plants that don't have those sections or don't sort of work that way. Specifically, think about fruits that do not have segments. And then sort of share with me which fruits you thought of that don't have those segments. And really, we're just going to think about how the world is similar and how things are dissimilar, how things grow in a similar way and how things grow in a dissimilar way. So those are our 3 homework assignments. Stay tuned. I'm going to launch our Zoom meeting so everybody can do their homework assignment together. We can share our animals. We can share our resolutions to this particular puzzle. And we can share our fruits and vegetables fruits that we found that don't have that sort of segmented nourishment around their seeds. So thanks a bunch for watching. Stay tuned for future episodes. Every day there's a Facebook Live. Every day there's a daily digital den meeting while we are all helpful in growing our Basecamp online and staying home, keeping each other healthy. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. See you next week.